Kai, Bai, Bo. Welcome to the Squid Game.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
I'm Ranuma.
I'm Iz.
And I'm Leo.
And welcome to the R&I Podcast. What's up, guys?
Welcome. Hey. Yo,
All right.
Netflix be going off these days, right?
I know. What are we talking about, guys? Not only the, number one hit series show.
In 90 different countries, I believe.
90,
Right?
wow.
For reals.
Yeah.
Bro.
Squid
Man.
Game.
Squid Games, guys.
Game.
We talk about
You know
the
what I'm saying?
Squid Games. The games of Squid. Yeah.
So apparently the
Which
Squid
has nothing to do
Game,
with Squid.
I know.
right? It's supposed to like be a symbol of the squid's body. Which, when I looked at the field, looks nothing like a squid. I'm like,
And no.
You have to have a child mind creativity to see the squid. And that's
Yeah.
where you failed. And so did I.
You need imagination.
Imagination. Can we get edit where it says imagination?
I don't know.
like I know that there's squids that kind of look similar to this. It kind of looks like an upside down daikon. I don't know if you guys can see that,
Yeah, I see that.
but it's similar to that's what I think a squid looks like. But I could be wrong. But anyway, that's what I think of when I see a squid. What they had on the TV show or in the series, what it looked like a small baseball field.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's. I mean, hey, what? I mean, sure.
Yeah,
That's
no.
all I can say.
Baseball field, guys. Baseball field.
All right. Well, tell us a little bit of the series.
Go for it.
So basically, it's a series about a survival game that you are able to play. You actually have your own. You have to give consent that you want to play this game, and it'll help you. I guess raise money or gain money. Through these games. Mind you, nobody knows what these games are and what entails or what happens when should you win and or lose. In the beginning, everybody woke up out of nowhere in this in this big old room with I believe it was 456 other people kind of just bunking. Like, that's a dope sleepover. I don't care what anybody says.
Slumber party.
456, and y'all be playing games. You know what I'm
Dang.
saying? Imagine if the conclusions didn't happen the way it did. Everybody'd be like, yo, that was so fun. Afterwards they eat at Denny's. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how it is. But it wasn't like that.
Bulgogi?
But
Want to
it
get
was-
some bulgogi right now?
Some
Yeah, right.
bulgogi, you know what I'm saying? Some kalbi, you know what I'm saying? Let's go. And yeah, so ultimately, yeah, the show is based off, is this, a survival game that you get to try to get out of your debts and try to start a new life. That is what I get from the movie or from the series. And yeah, it's pretty much, that's how it is. It reminds me of a little bit of this Japanese show called The Liar Game, based off of an anime. And at least that's the first half of it. The second half reminds me of this other Japanese movie called Battle Royale.
Yes.
Okay.
Huge.
Oh
influence.
my gosh.
One would say one of the OG survival kind of games out the movie / TV shows or anything,
Before the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Definitely way before the Hunger Games.
But yeah, they're basically competing for this huge sum of money from these players that are in huge debt, basically.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how much money you're making. They don't know until after the game is done.
Yeah, I don't even know how much 1 is in currency to US dollar.
Oh,
you know,
it's
1,001 is equivalent to $1.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
Like a ballparking. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
give or take.
I think we got a lot of money then.
Yeah. And I think at the end, it amassed to be $4.8 million in USD.
My gosh. And he
So
only
they
took,
were
$100
going
bucks?
for, if I remember well, they were going for 45.6 billion won is what they were, right? So each player was worth 1 million won. or a billion won.
A billion. Yes.
Yeah, a billion won. So every
No.
player that died.
It'd be 1,000,000 because it ended up in a billion, right?
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, then I said it right the first time.
Yeah.
It's a million won.
yeah.
So every player that died, they would put a million won into the ginormous pig. I love that
Piggy
it was a
bank.
piggy bank. Like to add to the childlike games and nostalgia that we all have.
Mhm.
Not only are you playing childhood games, but you're also playing for keeps in a giant piggy bank.
Yeah, but also you also have to add the money from the games, or is every money from the game from the deaths?
It's from the deaths. So every person
okay.
that died, that money gets collected into the next game. Yeah, that's how they were doing it.
Mhm.
As far as I understood the translation, because sometimes it was going so fast, I was like, I can't read that fast.
So like it was like it ultimately went down to there can only be one winner.
Yeah.
So that's
That's
a good
messed up.
question. That's a good question. That's me and my wife had that conversation, and I meant to go back and watch the first episode, but I just didn't have enough time. But if I remember well, and I would like to put a disclaimer out before we start. Translations sometimes really suck, right? We have that. When we talked about Trece, right? Some of the stuff that was translated to what was written was not the same. It was like, what in the world? That's not right. It's not. It's not being said.
It's not being
or whatever.
transcribed properly.
Exactly.
Or,
and I know that Squid Games had similar problems because I've watched a few TikToks where there was a person who was talking about how there are certain things that are being said that are not translating properly. So that being said, we're only going off of what we read, right? Because none of us are fluent in Korean as far as I know. I know how to read Korean, but I don't know what it means when I'm reading it. Right? You're the same boat as me, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Can read Hangul. Have no idea what it is.
Exactly. So if I remember well from the first episode, it stated that those who survive all 6 games win the prize. It didn't state anywhere that only one survivor wins.
Oh, that's right.
It said whoever survives all 6 games the winnings would be split between them. And if nobody survives, then the winnings would go to the families of the dead. That's what it said.
That is true.
So,
like if they exercised their clause 3 of the majority of them would have to vote to end the game.
Exactly.
And if that were to happen, which it did, then the people that died, those families would get the money.
Exactly.
And the people that just left, who ultimately in the end came back,
most of them,
like 92% of them came back.
Yeah.
Then they would end up getting the money, So, but no, and I'm thinking to myself as you were saying that, how did they guide it to where the second to the last game had to be left with 3? How did they, you know what I mean? Like, how did they know it's going to be 3?
Well, it was definitely written that way, but
No, and you're correct. You're correct.
You're right. It was definitely written.
It was. And to take it a step further, it was actually written on the walls. No? Okay.
The games were written on the walls.
The games were written on the walls.
But as I said, the last 3.
So no. So yes, you're right. And people in the comments right below, how long did it take you to realize that all the games were on the wall? Because I didn't realize that until literally the last game.
when it panned out and it got that overhead shot.
Because there was like bunk beds in the way. So I mean,
That being said, it was panned out a few times, but there were bunk beds and that was covering. But how often? I mean, even because the bunk beds were there doesn't mean you can't see what's behind it. We're just not paying attention to all the black lines because the bunk beds were also black. So all you see is just black lines going in every direction. So,
but then I saw stick figures, and I'm like, "What the heck are the stick figures about?"
Yeah, right. My wife is actually the one. My wife is actually the one that caught that the games were on the wall. She's like, oh, the games are on the wall. I'm like, what? She's like, yeah,
Yeah.
look. And I'm looking at them and go, oh, snap, all the games are on the wall.
Yeah.
But the 5th game had 4 players, not 3. And the 6th game had only 2 players.
The 6th game is the last one.
The 5th game, which was the glass one,
That's
where they had
players,
Yeah.
the bridge, had 4 players, stick figures on the wall, right? And then the Squid Game, spoiler, was the last game. If you didn't know that, I mean, it's in the title.
No, because in the wall there was a triangle which represented a table. So like, how did they?
Was there? I
Yeah.
didn't see no. I saw the.
No, there was a
Squid
triangle. Yeah, because it was I think that was a game in itself, wasn't it?
The triangle was the honeycomb game.
Yeah. The triangle.
The triangle was the honeycomb game. The second game.
Because it was multiple. It was a triangle. It was a star, and it was the umbrella.
Yeah.
Or the circle and the umbrella.
I saw that. There's
Hold up.
the umbrellas and stuff like that, but there's also this triangle with
a box, right?
No, it was just by itself, and it had 3 stick figures on on each of the lines. So that's why I'm like, how
That's Squid Game. I might be Squid Game.
I'm
the
looking
Squid
at it
Game
right
has
now.
the actual the actual icon on there, but if you look at the wall, it had 3 of them. It had the picture of the 3 just sitting there. So I'm like, how did they?
That's the marble game. That's the marble game. I'm looking at it right now. So, and that's where there's 3 people. It's the marble, and in the center is the little marbles, and they're playing marbles.
Oh, is that the marble game?
Yeah. That's the I'm looking at it right now.
The way they had the table set up, it was like that. That's why I was like, wait, is that?
I can see that. I can see.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. How do they predict that they're gonna have like 3 in the second to last part or whatever? You know, like.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they needed to at the end to play the Squid Game, but then in the very beginning of the show, there's all these kids, meaning I think more than 2 players can play the Squid Game, right?
It was in the beginning. It was 3 versus 3. Was it 4?
Yeah.
I thought it was 3-3. It was
could be 3-3.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 3 kids versus 3 kids, right? So obviously, you could have had multiple winners at the end. They just didn't have that.
Yeah.
It was a 1v1, and it ends up because of selfish desires or whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So my bad is I was like, I got so excited. I was like, the writing's on the wall. But yeah.
The writing was on the wall.
Yeah.
I was like, oh snap. Because no, I don't know, when you said that there was 3 people, I was just like, well, maybe. I was like,
You're like,
I was like,
okay.
hey, I was like, let me look at that. I was like, that's crazy, because I know, because you have that eye for like Easter eggs and stuff that I never see.
Randolph is really good at picking up
stuff.
like stuff like that.
Yeah.
He always. I'm like,
did you
what?
see
I didn't
Stan
see
Lee in the Venom?
if you haven't watched our last episode, you should watch it, and then you'll get that reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Venom 2.
Venom 2.
But
Let there be carnage.
Or in Leo.
Not in that voice.
Leo term. Or Leo tone.
Let there be carnage. Yeah.
Sorry, people.
Sorry about your those who are listening with headphones.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the nitty gritty of the movie.
Nitty gritty of the movie, bro.
So yes.
First,
man, where do you start?
Can I just say, I say this as a joke, so everybody, please take it as a joke. All right. I love Korea. But can I just say that the police in Korea must be the worst police on the planet? Because how do you not notice 456 people disappear all in one night? I'm just saying. If you don't notice that 456 people have just disappeared, you're probably not doing a good job patrolling
I think it's
your area.
because those people who disappeared are the ones that nobody wants to look for.
That's true. That's true. But I'm sure.
Unless you're a debt collector.
I would say that's true also.
Yeah.
I would say yes and no, because I'm sure there were plenty of people that were in there that had family and felt like the couple, the wife and husband that were there.
Man.
You know, I'm sure they had a family and they felt like there was no other way to pay their debts them to do this, right? And on top of it, talking about debt collectors, most of these debt collectors are probably like banks and stuff. They'll probably call the police and say, "Hey, this guy has not paid their bills
Yep.
in like 3 months," and they'll get 456 of them. It's like, whoa, all these people disappeared at the same time. Maybe we just haven't given it enough time.
Right. Oh man. The wife and the husband was just
that was sad.
that was sad,
Oh,
man. I mean, come on, guys. I
man.
just got married, man. Come on.
Gi-hun, the main character, I mean, like at first I was just like, oh, was he just always just down on his luck kind of dude?
Mhm.
But no, you find out later on that there's actually some texture behind his personality and why he's become the way he is. He was in a private motor company. He was in Team One. He was, he had a great house. He had a fiance with a baby on the way, and then boom, they cut him out.
Yeah.
At
Mhm.
first,
And his friend died, got murdered in front of them.
oh yeah,
Yep.
yep. So crazy. So like, I'm like, okay, so that's why I felt bad for the daughter, and the daughter obviously loved the main character, or Gi-hun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was obvious that she was like, come on, Dad, you could do this. And I just felt so bad when he lost the money
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
in the beginning, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, right after his call with his daughter, I'm like, oh, bro. I was like, put that away or something. You know what I mean? Like, I know there's got to be like an ATM and their ATMs take the money. You know what I'm saying? And they eat it up, and it'll show up in your account later. Like, come on, man. Oh, but yeah,
It's the little
Gi-hun's
things, right?
situation. Yeah, and then the mom, getting like the her foot was hurt. She had diabetes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, that's sad
like
too.
just like, come on, man. It's like, bro. And then Se-byuk, the main female, her being the reason to a lot of the steps that went on for him going into this game. It's her fault that he's in the game. You know what I'm saying?
It really is. It really, well,
it would have been the gangsters' faults too.
I would say she was definitely a catalyst for him to join the games. But I think if he was still given the opportunity, if she didn't steal his money and he was given the opportunity, I think he would still join because he'd be a gambler. Okay,
that's true.
So
he
probably would've
ended
still
up one,
joined.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. How does he take
But-
his mom's money too? You know what I'm saying? To go gamble. I was like, bro, use your own.
Yeah.
Get
It really
your own
makes
money.
it's and it's funny, right? Because like I remember watching that scene where he takes his mom's money, and I'm like, oh, you are a dirty dude, man. Come on, like I remember going, oh man, I'm not gonna like you at all. You're gonna be that
Mhm.
like that jerk, like just low life kind of guy, and he's not.
Yeah.
Once he comes into the game, he's like he's kind hearted. Yeah. I mean, he's trying to live just like everybody else. You can't hate him for that. But
Mhm.
he finds the weakest person. He finds the old man, right? He finds the old man and befriends them right from the beginning. He's like, "Hey, are you okay?" Like he doesn't. Everybody else is passing by this old man in the first episode. They don't care about him. They want to know what's going on. And he's like, "Hey, you okay?" He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm just counting, trying to keep my memory sharp." And he's like, "Oh, okay, that's cool."
Yeah.
So, not
yeah.
so much a low life as we thought.
True. But yeah, so Gi-hun, it being this whole series is based around him and his
Mhm.
character, and we get to meet like his best friend Sang-woo, who freaking bro, just what I'm saying, just like
Yeah. Sungwoo.
Mm.
a couple of times, you know what I'm saying, and bro,
No,
Until
not just a couple times. No.
To the end. To the end.
to the end, right?
end.
Yeah. A little bit more than that.
Dude.
You know?
And it was a lot. I wanted to knock him out at I think it was episode 7 or the end of episode 6, beginning of episode 7.
Yes.
Poor
Yes.
Ali, bro.
Oh man, Prince Ali, bruh. Jeez.
Prince Ali.
But that's just
Yo, the beast.
Oh,
Oh, man.
man.
You remember when they were doing the old man was explaining how to win in Tug of War? He
Yeah,
said even
yeah,
though if
yeah.
there was a wrestler on the other side of the team. And I was like, who cares if there's a wrestler on the side of the team? But I grew up, with a bigger body. So I was the wrestler on the other team. But when he
'Cause
said it,
that's
I was just
strong.
like, I was like, nobody else is that big. I was like, y'all the same size. But then when they said you want someone strong and sturdy in the back, and my boy Ali in the back, it's like, I got it. I was like, yeah, yeah. Because not only is he strong, he was able to keep Gi-hun's his body stiff.
Yeah.
Like he was able to do that. He just was like,
or in the first game where he like almost
Yeah.
falls and he's holding him there.
Yeah.
Bro.
I was
just
like,
like-
what the heck? It's like,
Oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, that probably why he was in the back of the
Yeah.
tug of
Yeah.
war. That
because
makes
he
sense.
was strong. Yeah.
Yeah, he was hecka strong. Well, and I mean, he did manual labor all the time, right? I mean,
Yeah. And then when Gi-hun said to the gangster dude, like, you're not worried? You're the strongest dude in here. And I was like, no, he isn't.
no, he's not.
Ali is the strongest dude up in here. However, Ali won't hurt anyone. That's
That's true.
the type, yeah. And that's what made Sang-woo even more of a jerk.
he
Sang-woo
is-
even hated himself too, but I knew he was trying to survive. Didn't matter how,
Yeah.
and he felt bad. He obviously felt bad every time he was doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But
to me, Sang-woo is trash. He's absolute trash, and
Mhm.
I do not in any way, shape, or form feel bad for him in any way. I told my wife when he dies, because we all know he was going to die eventually. When he dies, and I told her, it's like, watch, this is how it's going to happen. He killed Ali. He's going to redeem himself in the end, and he's going to die. And you know what? I don't care. You deserve to die. You little piece of trash. I don't feel bad for you.
yeah.
I feel bad for your mother because she's related to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Bro.
Sang-woo. I don't care about him.
Yo, I can't believe what Sang-woo did to freaking Sebyuk at the last minute,
Oh, man.
knowing she was gonna what?
Bro, for real, though.
I'm all like,
And then
she
he goes,
"Oh."
you already know she's gonna die, you know. Da, da, da. I'm like, oh, yeah,
I-
but
I'm-
give
I'm
her a
just
fighting
ending her-
chance, you know.
Ending her suffering. Bro, no. You're just making an excuse because you know you ain't going to be able to live with yourself when you leave this space. Just die already. Man, a song, bro. What? Game 2. Bro. You got me fired up with Sang-woo.
Yeah.
Game 2 sealed it for me. Okay, he knew what the game was,
Yep.
and he didn't tell everybody else, and he let him go through the struggle. By the way, Game 2. Okay, so Game 1 was our version. Our version of Game 1 was green light, red light,
Yeah.
and everybody's introduced to the insanity of what everybody's like. Oh, cool, green light, red light. That's not bad. Yeah, it's green light, red light with snipers.
Yeah.
Right,
If you
right.
move, you don't just get tagged out. You get tagged out for
You get
life.
eliminated for life.
So that was the
Yeah.
first game, and Machine has this like it like sings a song. By the way, in I guess in Korean, the song is about a flower that blossoms. Just so you guys, I don't know if you guys knew that, but the game,
I didn't
the
know
song that the robot is talking or singing is
Mhm.
is about the national flower of Korea. It starts with an M, and it's about it blossoming. And so when it blossoms is when she turns around and shoots everybody, right?
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
So, I know this because, like I said, I've been watching TikTok, and there's a lady in there that talks about it. And the first episode in Korean is actually says when this flower, I forget what this flower is called, when the flower blossoms, right? Is what the actual title is. It's not green light, red light. Right? So it's kind of talking about how these people come to realization, right? Their minds have just been opened to, oh snap, this is this is not a child's game.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where the title is coming from. What's that flower called? I am very annoyed. So that's the first game, which is pretty interesting. Second game, right, which is what we were going to go into right now,
The honeycomb,
was about these, like, I guess it's like just caramel, right? It's like a piece of sugar, melted sugar, and it has imprint, and her whole job was to take out the imprint, which was either a star, a circle, a triangle, or an umbrella,
Yeah.
and take it out of there without breaking the image, the imprint. and what's his name? Songwoo knew what the game was
Mm-hmm.
and went with Triangle being the easiest one of them all, and let his friend Gi-hun go to the umbrella, which is the hardest one. And I was like, you're trash.
And you know,
I hate you.
Sebyuk, it's from Sebyuk's information too. So like she also knew, but she didn't know exactly what he knew. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I'm just like, how did she not get it? I mean, she was also a kid once, so you don't know what game this is. You know, that's so.
Well, we have to, going off of what we know about the world as of right now. Sebyuk is from North Korea, who defected from North Korea and went to South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
So we can argue that children in North Korea did not play games.
True.
Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But
It's
I'm just
possible.
going off of
We
what
don't know.
we
Yeah,
believe
we
of
have no
North
idea.
Korea.
Yeah,
Right.
Can't
But
play
she
games.
is from North Korea, so these games to her could be as foreign as anything else, you know.
That's
So,
true.
Mm-hmm. I thought she was
Speaking
Chinese.
out of ignorance. No. They mentioned it a few times.
Yeah, they did. But,
But the mom and the dad were still in
misinterpreted.
North Korea.
Oh, but the dad
They
died
were-
in Chinese water. I thought.
Or then the mom was left in North Korea because she said she was going to go back and get her. So I must have misread or didn't read the part where the dad died. But I know that the mom was still alive and she was still stuck in North Korea.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. I
Yeah.
remember that.
And then
Yeah.
So
And then
what's up?
what's her name?
Her real name?
No, the gangster girl.
Minyo. Minyo is her name. Yeah.
Yeah. Her.
I call her the female con artist. I have a child. I know,
right?
And then everybody's like, she still can't name her child though.
I
I
know.
was like, ooh, burn.
Bro, I hated her at the beginning because she was so annoying. She's so annoying.
But until what she did,
she redeemed herself at the end. I was like, yeah, that's redemption.
I was like, there you go.
Yeah. I was just like, but why you two? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I was just like, it makes sense, but I mean, why? Like, you could have just like twisted and maybe survived.
I know. At least throw him into the glass. But
yeah.
So the third game was none other than Tug of War. A little twist, of course.
My boy Ali in the back.
Yeah. Holding it down.
Literally.
Literally holding it down. So it was pretty cool when when one of their team members was able to come up with the strategy, and they all just followed through, and they were able to get the win. You know,
the old man, by the way, the old man comes up with the strategy.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but he's a topic.
His name is, you know what? We'll get to his name at the end of the episode.
Is it? What is it?
No, I know his name.
He's player one for sure.
Yeah, we'll call him player one.
They never say his name. He always just called them grandpa or whatever or old man. He never. I don't think he ever introduced himself.
Habuji?
He did. It's
Hanabuji?
Ilnam, I think.
Ilnam is his name. I knew his name, but he doesn't say it in the beginning.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, that's why I was gonna say it later.
Yeah.
Like,
so that's the guy who happened to have he had a good insight to that game.
Yeah.
But even going back to the first game, when he was getting scanned, he wasn't really getting scanned. I don't know if
I think he was, but he was not scared. He was just like, I'm going to. When I watched him, like, dang.
Yeah, he was all smiles and stuff.
I was thinking to myself, it's like, it makes sense. He has an inoperable tumor. He's about to die. If he dies now or he dies in a month or so, it ain't no difference to this guy.
Yeah.
He's just going to have fun playing this game. And he's just like, go.
I actually when I was watching that episode at your house, Ranuma, I already kind of like laid out who's what. I'm like, yeah, that old guy's. That's him. You know, I was like, this is the guy right here. Yeah, I instantly knew. It was just because I watch enough dramas to be like, after, because it was specifically after the tug of war scene, and I'm like,
dang, you genius, bro.
I was like, that's weird. How would you know? How would you know that will still work? I was just like, and I'm like, I was just like, you look a little bit too happy, especially. I mean, do you see the first game?
I found out in the first game. He wasn't getting scanned.
But I watched
he
it.
He was not getting scanned.
I watched it at the honeycomb one. That was the first episode for me, which sucked because I had to go back.
Have you guys seen Saw? Who's behind Saw? I mean, come on.
a little puppet.
Okay.
I never seen Saw.
By the way, everybody. So just in case you're trying to figure out what the heck we're talking about in code, the whole bloody time, the old man, number one, which kind of blows your mind, is the freaking leader of the Squid Game. He is in charge of the whole thing and chose to play the game because it was fun.
It was all fun. Yeah, he orchestrated this whole thing.
And apparently these two geniuses knew from the first episode that he was in charge. I did not realize this until the marble game. Actually, I hinted at, I figured, I had a suspicion in the marble game, but it wasn't until the hands came down when the guy in the black mask goes and talks to the boss, right? And he puts his hands down. You don't see his face. You just see him put the mask down. And I'm like, oh shoot, it's the old man, ain't it? That's what I figured out. It was him. Before that, no clue. Man. I think my wife, I think she had a feeling like second game or third game in, but I was not expecting that. But then everything made sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that happened before that.
So the episode I watched at Ranuma's house, so Sophie clarified it for me. I just said, I bet you it's the old man. It makes sense if it was. And she's like, wait, how'd you know? I was like,
wow.
It's funny because that's how I said it too. I'm like, it's the old guy. And she's like, how did you know that? I'm like, seriously?
Yeah. You're like, I'm right. Oh,
dang it.
Why you gotta tell me?
There's another old guy behind him, right? No?
Yeah, there's that other old guy.
And I was just like, darn it.
And it makes so much sense. Like, okay, so after the second game and before the third game, they had the whole night raid.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
They let each other, because for all the people out there, what happens is they deliberately didn't have enough food for all the people, so that they would start fighting each other for food at nighttime. And it worked. And everybody started killing each other, and it started going super crazy, and everybody's freaking out, right? And Jihan, he tells, his homies, everybody, that he aligned himself, like, hey, we got to stick together. Let's not, we don't want to die and everything.
Yeah.
Chaos occurs, and at the top of one of the bunk beds, or the bunk bed towers, is the old man
screaming.
And he starts to scream, stop everything, stop fighting, why is everybody killing? He's making this whole scene of why everybody's killing each other and we shouldn't act this way and all this stuff. And they stopped the game.
Because he said he was afraid.
Yes, he was afraid.
He was afraid.
And I thought to myself, I was thinking, why would you stop the game for this old man? That doesn't make sense, because who cares? He's not in charge. But he is. And he was literally telling them, hey, it's time to stop the game because this is where I wanted it to end. What?
He literally says, stop it. I'm very afraid right now.
And which he probably wasn't.
Everybody can die. And then, and just pushes the button down, boom, done.
Like, but he knew.
Right after he says it.
Old man knew about it too. He knew that that part was going to happen.
Oh no, he knew everything was happening. 100%. Right, and like he stopped it because he wanted to end there. Not because I don't think he was afraid. I truly don't think he was afraid at all. But it's just one of those foreshadowing situations. Like if you're smart enough, you pick that up. And go, oh, he's in charge.
Yeah.
Right, because there's no reason why they would have stopped the game just because an old man said to stop the game. You didn't stop it for anybody else who had families and they were crying their eyes out that, please don't kill me.
Regular people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the leader, so we have to, do what he says,
I like to give props.
I mean, he could have been genuinely scared because they had like the dude with the snake tattoo had his own posse, he was going to come over everybody. he probably immediately ran up there as soon as the lights even went down.
A lot of people don't see him as a threat, so I don't see that happening.
I agree with Iz. I don't think he was scared because nobody ever saw him as a threat. And just to go back a little bit, I mean, you could be right. I'll have to watch the first episode again to make sure. But I feel like he was. I want to say this, but I have to watch the episode again. He was being scanned during the green light, red light, just because I feel like he wanted to play the game fair and square. He didn't. I mean, he knew everything that was going to happen, but he never divulged anything to anybody at any point, right? But I felt like if he played the first game and not be scanned, he's gypping himself of the adventures of almost dying, right? So I feel like he was being scanned, but
so I mean,
I'll have to rewatch that episode to see, because I know there were parts where they were like, boop, 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 and they're like, and then I didn't see if whether or not there was a scene where he was in front of it and it just skipped over him.
So yeah, I mean, he was scanned, but it's not like the green haze. If you paid attention to him compared to the others, the green haze of the other ones, other than him, were a lot stronger and a lot more greener than his. His was just like an outline of a green. So yeah, he was all scanned, but he wasn't really
he
like
probably like had a buffer.
Yeah.
So if he did move a little bit, it wouldn't affect the scan. I'm sure if he moved, like physically moved forward, he would have definitely got shot and killed.
Yeah.
No doubt in my mind.
So we talked about the Tug of War. What's the other game that comes after that one?
So after the is the Tug of War. The Tug of War is the third game.
The Tug of War is the third one.
The fourth game was
the fourth one was a marble.
No, that was the fifth game. Marble was the fifth game, right?
No. Marble was the fourth game.
Oh, Marble was the fourth game.
Marble. Yeah,
Marble is the fourth game.
Oh my gosh.
So, okay. Me and my wife, we were literally screaming at the TV for like the entire episode for Marble game. Okay? Not Marvel.
The Marble game.
With a B, not a V.
But, B as in Victor.
Yeah. No. B as in boy.
He's like, yes, no.
For anyone who is fluent in Korean, me and my wife would like to know. Obviously, my wife's mom is fluent in Korean. We can just ask her. But anybody who's watching, if you can clarify this for us.
Or
because
listening.
of
So why don't you just ask her that?
I just have it. Because of translation issues, right? We have, sometimes it doesn't get translated right. Me and my wife kept saying in the Marble game that they were playing the game wrong, and it honestly upset me a little bit that the director didn't go with this. But according to the rules of the Marble game, it stated that by the end of the hour, you needed to obtain your opponent's 10 marbles. Correct? So me and my wife kept telling each other that all they had to do was swap marbles, because it didn't say that you needed to have 20 marbles by the end. You just needed your opponent's 10. And so if you swapped marbles with each other, you would have your opponent's 10 marbles. Now that's how it's being read.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't know if in Korean it was saying you need 20 marbles, or if it was being said exactly how it was translated.
Yeah. You know what? That makes sense, because I had that same question actually my brother did. He was just like, so my brother actually said a lot of things that should have won the game a lot earlier in every game.
Yeah.
It started with the honeycomb. He's like, don't you use moisture? And I look at him because I've already seen the scene. I'm like, you what? How'd you? And so after that episode was finished, or that scene was done, I was like, bro, how'd you know that? He's like, well, it just makes sense because, it's sugar, and sugar will just start thinning out. It's like a lollipop. And I'm like, oh, dang. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
He said the same thing that you're saying right now during the Marble game. He's like, can't you just switch it out? And I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I guess I missed that part, because I'm like, no, I think we went back 20. Oh, you went?
We went back because I'm like, we wanted to make sure that the rules were because the rules are there, right? And I felt like to every game there was some form of a loophole if you can find it, right? Mm-hmm. But you had to be smart enough to figure it out. And so I felt like that was the loophole for that game for sure. Is it said you needed your 10 opponents' marbles. All you had to do was switch each other, and you would have all been able to win the game and move forward to the next round. In my opinion.
Right.
Now, once again, I don't know if the actual Korean that was being spoken translates to what was read, right? But if it was, I'm just saying Ali could have won, could have lived. And, you know, it breaks my heart.
Freaking Sangwoo.
Yeah, that one was... That left me speechless. Like, Ali was just too kind. He was looking out for his family. He was looking out for his own life. And then Sangwoo was just like... He put on a good act. And then, yeah, he was fending for himself. And then he got the rocks. And, oh my gosh, he just switched it up on him.
Bro, and you know, the funny part was when he's like, oh, okay, you take these and I'll put them on you or whatever, and you can go and start doing whatever the stupid thing he told him to go do, which is count how many old or young people there are. I'm like, why would you even, how does that even make sense to you?
It doesn't, because
despite the point.
He told them the population of, like, to find the population that is not known in that group at the time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
How does that even, why would you even listen to it? But I, for whatever reason, had some form of hope that Sangwoo was not a piece of trash, right? And that what he did was what I kept yelling them to do, which is switch each other's things. And my wife kept saying, no, he put rocks in his. I'm like, no, he didn't. He gave him his 10. He's like, no, honey, he did not. He's letting him die. And I'm like, no, Sangwoo is bad, but he's not that bad. I mean, this is the point where he redeems himself. It's like, I'm sorry, but that's not the case. And then when he goes up, he's like, I have the 20. I'm like, I don't care about you no more. You're dead.
You monster. Sangwoo, more like Sang-hoo.
Sang trash.
Oh man. What about the our female lead?
Oh bro.
Man.
Oh, Ji Young against Ji Young. Oh bro. Oh man. And dude,
I was like,
funny.
what's the whole point of this storytelling? There's a point to this, right? They're trying to see who's got the worst story of them all, or what? You know?
Yeah.
Well, actually, Ji Young going out the way she didn't make sense to me either. But she's like, well, one of us got to lose. And it seems, and to answer your question, yes, Ji Young actually was like, I'm looking at who has the worst story. And to Ji Young, Se-byuk had the worst story and was still going through hers, where Ji Young wasn't anymore.
Yeah. She really had no reason to live.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So she, in a way, she's just kind of off her own self.
And also the whole point of that was to make you as the viewer hurt so much more.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna lie, Ji Young was kind of annoying to me. I'm like, girl, you crazy, man. What's wrong with you?
I was like, why are you being such a punk?
Just need to quiet down, all right?
Oh man.
But when she told her story and then she sacrificed herself for Se-byuk, I was like, you know what? I take back everything I said.
Respect.
You a true G.
I didn't like how she was like belittling the pastor that was praying or whatever. But I was just like, okay.
But I think that's just part of her character, though.
No, it was because of her upbringing.
Yeah. Her dad was a pastor.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, at first when she was explaining the story to Se-byuk, the main girl, I thought she killed her parents.
Oh shoot.
And she's like, yeah, I was standing above my mom and I didn't hear it, or I didn't read anything that said dad, so I was just like, and I was standing with the knife and I was like, yo, this chick killed both her parents. I was just like, yo, Se-byuk, run, keep your marbles. My gosh. But yeah, no, it was not. It was her dad.
That whole game was probably the worst game.
The marble one?
The marble one was probably the worst. It was the roughest game because even like Jihan being so like kind and so what's the word I'm looking, honorable for the most part in all the games, right? And then to come to this point where he starts to lie.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Oh yeah, Ilnam.
Ilnam, right?
Yeah.
And you're just like, bro, no, play the game for real, man, play the game. And and I figured that he was pretending to be in a state of dementia.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, nah, man. He's definitely pretending. He's not. He
got
ain't
the
really
brain
there.
tumor.
He wants to see. And I mean, once again, can you really blame any of these people? No, but because they're trying to live their life. But I mean, Ji Young. I mean, she went out like a G. She's like, I'm not gonna be a messed up person and betray this person or act a certain way towards, she did it right in comparison to Sang-woo or Jihan. And Jihan, I mean, granted, at the end, number one, I keep forgetting his name, but number one, he gave him his last marble, obviously because he knew he wasn't gonna die and he's just gonna go back to the upstairs.
Yeah,
right.
You notice how they
didn't show him.
They didn't show him as they was walking out with main character.
Yep.
They didn't. You hear the gunshot, but then you don't see his body lying down. Especially on the next shot, it was like an aerial view.
Yeah. Of
him walking away, but you don't see his body or anything anywhere.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh yeah, that's just not obvious at all. So.
Hey man, that's when I started feeling suspicious myself. But like I said, it wasn't solidified until the mask came down. And I'm like, oh dang, that's the old man, ain't it? Talking about twists and turns, let's talk about the cop, shall we?
Jun-ho, baby. I was just about to bring that up, dog. Everybody was playing the Squid Game. He was playing Among Us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was. He was playing Among Us. That was
great. Yes,
that was good.
I saw that on Instagram. It was
Closing
great.
doors open.
Yeah, he went like. My brother was like, "Oh, he vented."
He vented. That's great.
He vented. Imposter.
He's an imposter. Bro. Yeah, he was an imposter for
sure.
He
was an imposter.
He really was.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the cop, I wouldn't understand the symbols of the shapes. You know, the worker, the guard, and then the manager, the square.
I figured that out. In like beginning of episode 2. I'm like, oh, circles are the lowest rank, triangles are the bodyguards, and squares are the bosses. I figured that out way ahead because there was only ever like 1 or 2 squares.
Yeah,
and then the triangles were always wearing the guns. And the circles were always the ones, the grunts, just like picking up the dead bodies and putting them away. So I was like, oh snap! Okay, there's a rank system to these, to the shapes, which was pretty dope. And then you had Blackface, right? The Black Mask guy.
Frontman is his name.
Oh, Frontman. Yeah,
Frontman.
Okay, so,
man,
he goes. So, what's his name? What's the police officer?
Jun-ho.
Jun-ho, right? Jun-ho goes and does his whole thing. And he gets into Frontman's office and finds where the records are. Which, by the way, this game has been going on for freaking decades,
a long time.
Years, yeah,
decades. It was like 1990 something, 90. I'm like, dang, what the heck? People are, I don't know what this world is coming to that you're not realizing that mass groups of people are just disappearing. But whatever, that's beyond the point right now. But he finds his brother, right? I think he was the winner of 2016 or something like that. I think it was
2015. Yeah.
It was. I know it was like somewhere around there. So when I saw his face on the little winning thingy, I went and I thought to myself, how much you want to bet Frontman is his brother?
I thought the same. Oh, I thought it was. I thought Frontman was Jun-ho's brother when he landed on the island. I was just like,
so smart.
No, that was just a guess. It was just a guess. I was just like, because I was like, wouldn't it be messed up if that dude in the black mask is his brother?
Now, I was with you, Leo, when he was flipping through the pages. I'm like, oh man, don't tell me Frontman's the brother. But also, did you catch that when he went through the current records of the contestants who were playing at that same time? When he flipped through the cover, it only went straight to player 2 because player 1 was the old guy.
Oh, I did
not. I thought the old guy was only the one time at this game.
That's true, but his picture wasn't there. His little info page wasn't there. It went straight to 002.
Oh, when they were looking.
Oh,
when
he was looking
at
at this one, the current one.
Yeah, the current one.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice that. Okay, I thought you were talking
I
about
was
the
like,
2015
wait.
one. 2015.
Because I'm like, player one is the old guy. Why isn't he in there?
No information on him.
Yeah.
Of
So
course.
that gave another clue. There was a whole bunch of clues at who this guy was. And we just...
Look, I'm slow, okay? And I don't read Korean. I apparently don't even notice these.
I don't either.
I know you
that
don't
was a
either.
picture.
But
It was a picture.
Yeah.
But it was a Korean picture. I don't know.
It's like we think it's like this. Korea's like,
But
man.
do you okay? So here's my next question: do you think? So okay, just to give a little background for all the people watching, so they finally start catching up that that there's an intruder. They go after him. He leaves the island because, by the way, all of this is happening on an island, not even in Korea. It's happening in some random island. Who knows where? No, they don't explain where it is, but we all know all we know it's an island. Just so you guys all know.
It's East Korea.
Yeah, that part. Just in case you didn't know.
It's its own.
Yes.
Korea.
Country. We just nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
That's where people go to get killed, apparently. So
Play games.
Yeah, play games. So he goes into an underwater tunnel and he's scuba diving away, but there's a tracker on him. So Frontman and his goons go after him. They chase him up a cliff. He's at the top of the cliff, and Frontman takes off his mask, and behold, it is his brother who he has been looking for I guess 6 years now, because he won in 2015 and never showed up again, and it's 2021.
I know.
So everybody's like, what? He's freaking out. Everybody's freaking out. I'm like, I figured.
I couldn't believe it was Snake Guy's brother either, Like,
Yeah, dude. Storm Shadow.
Storm Shadow's in there. That's crazy.
I was like, yo, what is
I like what you
Tommy
did with your hair, though.
Akagiyashi, whatever his last name is. What the heck?
So
Nah.
he gets shot
Mm-hmm.
and falls off the cliff
Yeah, he gets shot in his shoulder.
in the shoulder.
Such a cliffhanger.
So, do you think he's alive or
Yes.
is he dead?
He's alive. He's alive.
I think he's alive because Frontman's like, yo, expose us.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
Well, I think here's the thing. I think Frontman is the new head of the game.
He's a new Ilnam, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
I think so.
Well, he was in charge. He was the one who was right underneath
The sergeant.
Ilnam. Yeah. So
Ilnam
was
is a VIP essentially, though, right?
No, he was the host. He was also as the host.
Because if you remember, his head was, or his helmet was just like the other VIPs.
Right.
That's true, but he's also the host of the whole games.
Because remember, he explained it to Jihan when he was laying in bed about to die, that he was bored and all his rich friends were all bored, and so he made this whole game situation up so that they all can be entertained. So he is the host of the Squid Game.
I wonder if the other VIPs have their own version of Squid Game in their countries.
I think there is, because and I was wondering about this. But I don't know, because of the records, it kind of like makes it shifty. But I think it's like the Olympics; it changes places every year because Frontman tells the VIPs when they all come, he's like, "These are how we play the game."
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So so they just came to Korea. They're doing it for the first time there, or whatever the case may be. So I'm guessing that this game is played in other places.
In their own
every
rules.
year or every so many years, who know how often they do it. But because of the records, we've only seen like 2 or 3 records, right? And most of the people on there were all, as we suspect, to be Korean. So are they only killing the Koreans and going to other countries?
I know,
That's messed up.
So we got the next game, the Glass Bridge.
Glass Bridge.
Basically, it's like their version of the floor is lava. You there's they got the tempered glass, and then they got the
Why
regular
didn't they just
normal
go down
glass.
like the cylinders? You know what I'm saying?
I would have they would have shot them, but I thought
they would have. I was saying that out loud too. I'm like, can't they just go in the middle? But then somebody told me, yeah, you can do that, but do you want a bullet in your head? I'm like, okay, never mind.
Right, but they didn't imply that would happen. We don't know if that was going to happen or not because no one tried it.
That's what I'm saying.
True.
So
like,
because since no one tried it, that option was never on the never off the table. There you go.
Right.
You literally could just walk in the middle. I'm looking at this picture right now. You can literally just walk in the middle right now.
No, I'm definitely sure that they would have shot them because the rule of that game was that you had to step on one or the other glass. Although if they are laying on the rails, so technically, if you step on them, they're still you're stepping on the glass, right? But you're just doing it on the rails. I mean, like I said, loopholes to everything, right?
And here's the other thing: the distance between the glasses
dude.
were actually far.
Yeah,
I thought, oh my
thought.
gosh, you had to jump, bro.
Yeah,
I thought it was okay. Oh my gosh, when they did like a whole pan over of the imitation, the one with the chessboard and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I thought it was like tempered glass, normal glass, tempered glass, normal glass. No, it was it was just
never
glass
like that anymore.
Huge space, glass, huge space.
Oh, I see what you mean. I see
like,
what you mean. Like between each glass, you thought there was more glass so that they could just walk on it. I see what you mean.
But I'm like, oh, okay, that just never mind. I would still take the middle.
And
just go in the
by
bars,
by the way, that is most likely the reason why number one died in Marble Game because he was not going to be able to jump those glass planes each time. So he's like, this is where I end my adventure. Peace. Yeah, no, that game. Okay, so now that we're at this game, which was crazy, right? Because if everybody picked the wrong glass,
nobody would win.
Jihan would have been the winner.
True.
Because there were enough glass planes that he would have been the only one to make it to the end if everybody picked the wrong glass, right? Which
how would he have played the Squid Game?
I think he would have just won. He would.
But you have to play all 6, right?
Yeah, no, but I mean, I would say can I be the offensive and they just like offense and just like do the whole thing and then walk to the circle. It's like done. Won the game. Deuces.
That is true.
But okay, so this is where what is her name? Mi Neon.
Yeah, Mi Neo. Yeah.
This is where she redeemed herself from being the most annoying person ever. Like I was so annoyed by her. I'm like, oh my gosh, why are you so annoying? But I loved it. It was so great when she grabbed what's his face? What's the bad guy's name?
Doksu.
Mm-hmm.
When he grabbed Doksu and she's just like, I told you, if you betray me, I'll kill you.
Yeah, I'm like,
and she just grabs the fool and just go, whoa! And I'm like,
it's like done. I'm like, can you at least have it to where you can like land on top of him for cushion, you know?
Right. Like he was big enough, dude, that you could have probably like absorbed the shock.
Right. You know, like I'm going past beyond that fall. I'm going like right at the bottom. I'm like, okay, how can I maneuver it to where I land on top and break the fall with his body, you know?
It was so funny when Doksu and Minyo was in the bathroom doing the thing. And then someone goes, while I was watching it, they were like, someone goes, "Are they allowed to be in the same bathroom?"
I'm like, my gosh! Yeah, how did that?
I was like, I was like, I don't know. I was like, because aren't they on the like? Don't they have a guard? But no, they have a guard after hours. Beforehand, I guess it's just you can just use the bathroom. That bathroom was incredibly huge, bruh.
Must be a rookie triangle.
A rookie triangle. It was probably a circle who became a triangle. Like, yes, I finally moved up. I don't have to pick up dead bodies no more.
So after the glass, would you consider that little dinner thing a game? Or no?
No,
that was just like a prize, yeah? Like it was like
because
lunch.
Just like the riot between game 2 and 3 wasn't considered a game. Right?
Oh, okay.
It was more for entertainment.
So it wasn't
for the VIPs
really a game.
and to cut down and to cut down on the population of possible winners, right? Just same thing with the Tug of War. The Tug of War was made definitely for the purpose of cutting down the population of winners.
The
Yeah,
marbles were
literally
too.
cut it down.
Oh yeah, and the marbles, right? Because these became like 1 versus 1. Because the first 2 games were all about you yourself trying to make it. You're not against anybody but the game. And then those 2 games were definitely all about, hey, are you better than the other guy?
Yeah.
And try to do it.
So
But
yeah, so what went down after that bridge, the glass bridge, was that it was the 3 that were left. It was Gi-hun, and we got Sungwoo, your favorite Leo, and then we got Sebyok. So all 3 of them are eating and stuff like that, and then they're all dressed up. The guards takes away their
suits.
plates. Yeah, their little dinner suits. And the guards take away everything, except for the knife.
yeah.
And I think that's when Sangwoo becomes your favorite character, Leo. You know, because so right after that dinner thing, they all go into their own little beds and stuff like that, and then
Oh, by the way, we should probably mention that Sembyok, at the end of the bridge game,
mhm.
all the glass explodes and she
Yes.
gets a shard of glass in her side, so
Yup.
she's like bleeding out
Yeah.
while they're having this dinner and stuff. So context to what's about to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what went down right before that little dinner, and then after the dinner, they all went to the little bed, and Gi-hun was going to he was gonna go after Sangwoo with a knife. But-
He started talking to Sembyok first.
Yeah,
They, like, had
but-
a little conversation.
Yeah, but
Promise
then-
me. Promise me. I was like, oh,
I know,
no.
but because she stopped him from going after Sangwoo.
Yep. That's not you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if he did kill Songwoo,
hmm
he would have been the winner.
But then, yeah, and then what happened was that she revealed that she was wounded, and then
Mhm.
that's when Gi-hun's like, "Come out here." That was the thing. Like, he went to the door, pounding and stuff, saying she was injured. All of a sudden, light turns on, casket comes through.
And Sang was just chilling. He's just
Sangwoo
like-
was just
Like
chilling,
a villain.
like- and then I'm like, no, he didn't. He
when
did
opportunity
not.
knocks.
Yeah, he's
And
like,
that's when also that's when you get a pan of the room
yeah,
and all the games are literally plastered on the wall, all 6 games, right? And you're just like, oh dang. I mean, if anybody just paid attention for 2 minutes, they would have realized the games ahead of time. And it makes perfect sense, right? Because why did they? Oh, go on, finish your thing, and I'll come back to this about what you were saying about.
I think that was pretty much it. He was just he was just standing over her
he
body.
killed
and-
her. He killed her
Yeah.
so that
Just-
because she
The
was
animal.
suffering. Bull crap! It's not because she was suffering. So here's the thing: one person we definitely forgot to mention this entire time is the doctor, right? So
Oh,
yeah,
lucky.
what?
the doctor, and some of the people, the red people, right,
yeah,
were in cahoots, and they were taking the bodies that were dying, they were taking them and taking out their organs and selling them on the black market.
mhm.
This was not part of the game, right? Though Frontman knew that this was happening because
Yep.
he said it when they caught him. It's like, I don't care if you do this,
yeah,
right? It doesn't bother me. But what bothered him was that the masked people were giving the doctor what the games were. And the
Mhm.
Frontman said, I didn't care that you guys were taking out organs and selling them. What bothered me is that you were giving this guy the games, and that made it unfair. And the whole point of this game is to make it fair and equal for all the people.
Yep.
Everybody has the same advantages as everybody
Mhm.
else to become a winner at the end.
Yep.
And you made it unfair when you gave the doctor the hints. That being said, right? It makes perfect sense because on the walls were plastered all the games. Everybody had opportunity to look at the walls
Mhm.
and say, "Hey, wait, this is the game we just played." whoa,
Yeah.
all the games are sitting here. They could have figured it out ahead of time, but obviously they
But the
didn't
bunk
figure
beds
it
are in the
out.
way, and everybody
Bunk
was
beds were in the way.
asking.
And everybody was terrified out of their
Yeah.
freaking mind.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Everybody was
You know?
asking what game was next also. They didn't really
And
look for clues or anything because they're just stuck in a big old room with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
So
I will say though, like being that everything is fair, I felt that frontman cheated in the glass game. Because in the glass game, he turned down the light.
Mm-hmm. Because
And
that
I think
one
that was
dude-
unfair. Yeah, because there was one guy who was he worked for
the
a glass
fourth
company.
guy.
And he was able to he could tell the difference between tempered glass and untempered glass. And he finally got, like, they were getting so close to the end and they had one more glass to jump to all make it. And they're like, oh wait, they can't do that. So front guy turned down the light, so it became hard for them to realize what was what. And I felt that was a cheap move on their part, because if you want to make it fair, that's fair. He's using his knowledge of his craft to his advantage, and he wasn't doing it just for himself. He was helping all these people out too, so to me that was a cheap move on the part of the gamers,
Unless he really intended to do that,
Well-
because they needed to go down to like a certain amount of number.
It doesn't make them equal though.
Yeah.
I mean, I disagree, because you have all ages and all different types of people playing all these games, right? You had like green light, red light, right? You had the old man, and then you had younger people who could run faster than him, right? The equality in the old man outrunning a younger guy is obviously not there, right? The younger guy's definitely going to beat him, but they both had the same opportunity to make it to the end, despite the fact that the old man was the leader the whole time, right?
But that's
everybody.
And I think that's the thing. Yeah, you can be physically given the advantage, but it's not just all physical and bronze and everything. It's a mentality that you have. Some people that are these buff dudes and they have a weak mind. Like
True.
Like maybe.
True.
They're given, like you said, they're given that opportunity, but then they it's up to them to capitalize on that.
True, and that's why I'm saying that the guy with the glass, I think it was still fair if he used his knowledge of glass in order to make it, because it is just part of his nature, right? You can't blame one person because they're stronger and they're stronger at Tug of War for being stronger against a bunch of weaker people, and blame him for having knowledge in glass.
But then with the Tug of War, that's just a good example of like working as a team and knowing that you're just not gonna fight bronze all the time. There's a certain strategy for that.
But when you have a clear advantage over someone else, it is no longer equal. You know what I'm saying? Because what happens is there's just a shift, and this is what they were trying to keep away from.
Yeah.
But that doctor, F that doctor, dude. Yeah. I don't like him. I never liked him, especially since, he had to do all that other stuff. And what was weird about the show is that they left the bodies open. And I'm like,
oh, yeah, that's messed up. That is messed up.
What do you mean? Wait.
Because he cuts them
they
open.
Left the bodies open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just see like no bones. You just see like
just all this muscles,
all
and
red.
everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. I was just like, yo, this is a Korean drama, right?
That was very dramatic, all right.
Hey, for a Korean, I mean, Netflix was like, Netflix was the biggest.
Yeah.
So that's why the only reason why they were able to do so much stuff, because I think of Netflix. But other than that, like the scene in the bathroom with what's her name and the guy and the gangster.
Well,
I'm like, oh, okay.
Very adult.
That's definitely
adult,
not. That's not Korean at all.
But you know what? Also made me think. That it's that it wasn't so much a Korean drama was when Gi-hun gave his daughter that little fake gun, but he didn't know it was a gun. But in Korean dramas, guns are blurred out.
Yeah.
And even knives, they're blurred out. So when it wasn't blurred out, I was just like,
Netflix was definitely in charge.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah.
100%.
Okay, so a few things. One, apparently, I don't know if you guys know this, just a few little things that I learned after the fact. One, the phone number that was used was a real phone number in Korea. Mm-hmm. And the guy got a crap load of calls.
Yeah.
I feel so bad. That's messed up. Like, why are you not using
change my phone number now? Gosh.
Second, I just read today that an internet provider in Korea is suing Netflix
For the
because
broadband.
yeah, to pay them for the broadband because they're using too much and it's costly to the internet provider. I'm like, that's the silliest thing I've ever heard in my life. That's not Netflix's fault that they made a good show. I thought that was hilarious. Third.
So,
Go on.
go ahead. Go to your third.
So I have not a conspiracy theory, but a theory. And I want to just shout out these people on TikTok because I heard it from them, and they're called Just the Nobodies. I don't know if you ever seen them. They're really cool. They have a bunch of like theories about a bunch of stuff, and they had this theory, and I think it's interesting. So in the beginning, when the guy in the suit comes and meets everybody to play the game, he plays the game with the cards.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Gongju.
Oh yes.
You know where I'm going with this.
Yeah. I know, and I think it's true. I think it's true.
The theory behind it is depending what color you grabbed will dictate where you fall. So if you grab the blue one, you're a player, and if you grab the red one, you become one of the guards. One of the guards.
Yep. No, and I think it's true though.
I think it's pretty interesting. I wonder how true that is.
Oh,
my only complaint.
The second season would be like from the staff side.
That'd be crazy.
There's another theory, but let's talk about the last game before we get there. The Squid Game,
which is so weird. That's a weird game. It's hard for me to still figure out how that game is supposed to work. But
so yeah, you one leg you have to go up to the
line,
the triangle like this, and you have to get past the defense there.
Yeah.
If you can get past the defense, then you can use both feet and you go all the way around to the top. And then when you get to the top, you got to rush back.
Yeah.
And then that's it. You win.
Still a weird game. I'll have to play it to get a better understanding of that game. Yeah. It seems fun.
Yeah, and it says that so if someone on the defense manages to push you outside the squid's boundary, you die.
Right.
And then once you tap the squid's head, you win and yell out victory.
Right.
Basically. But that's when it all went down. Between your favorite character, Leo, and
Gihan and Sung-woo did. Yeah, that was a dope little fighting scene that they had going on in the rain and everything like that. I was like, yeah,
pretty good.
That was very dramatic.
And then what made it even sad for Gihan was that throughout the whole game in the beginning, he was saying, "Oh no, Gihan is Samdong's prodigy child. He's the golden egg. You know, he's the one. He's the one that made it out of the hood. You know, he kept saying that like this is our pride and joy.
Right.
You know,
right.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
Sang-woo, man, you just do him dirty, bro, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm still bitter, bro. I haven't watched it in like 2 weeks. And I'm still mad at it. I'm still mad at him. Sang-woo, like all Gihan did the entire time was just hype you up, just talk about how great of a guy you are, how smart you are, how like this, and
you could never do wrong. You are the perfect person. Yeah. He's like, not me though.
Which is pressure. Which is pressure for Sang-woo. I understand that, like, because especially since he was failing for whatever reason.
Okay, so this saying it was right during. I think it was during the Squid Game or right before the Squid Game. Sang-woo says, "This is why you're dumb. You're slow. You don't get it. This is why you could never succeed." And he's like, "Ooh, all right, I get it. I know what you mean. Yeah, I'm dumb. Yeah, I'm slow. For some reason, though, you in here with me." I was like, "Dang, bro." He's like, "So tell me, how are you here with me, the dumb one?" Huh? You know, I was just like, yeah, bro. That was the clappiest of clapbacks ever.
So,
Squid Game.
Dang.
My gosh.
Just to finish off what happened in that last game, right? They're fighting each other, and Gihan, he pretty much wins the game. And he grabs the knife. He has the knife in his hand. He took the knife from their dinner and he took it to the game. And he took it out and he was going to stab Song-woo in the face, but he didn't. He just stabbed it in the ground. And he then tells the game people, "Hey, you know what? I want to vote to whether or not to quit the game."
Clause 3.
Yeah, clause 3. Pull it out again. We're going to call it right now.
Majority
we're going to end the game
rules.
right now. And there's only 2 of them, right?
Right.
And I was like, "Dang, man, you're gonna."
He's been doing that the whole game, though, the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, Gihan, man, you true. You know, and Song Woo instead
Your favorite.
grabs the knife
Mm-hmm.
and stabs himself in his own neck, killing himself.
Asks him to take care of his mom.
Yes.
Yeah, and making Gihan the winner. Look. Did he redeem himself? Yes. Do I care? No, I don't freaking care, man. You kill Ali.
No chill.
There is none. I don't care.
Yeah.
Good, you died. I'm glad. And yes, you know what? Gihan is going to take care of your mom. Why? Because he's a good guy. Unlike you, you wouldn't have taken care of his mom. You would have paid your debts and then gone to wherever the heck you were going to go.
Bro.
Don't come to me with your nonsense.
Gihan's mom, though.
Oh, I know.
Don't even, bro.
I
Yeah.
was utterly broken.
I was pissed.
I was angry.
Carnage.
I was just like, no. Weird ending. Weird ending.
Yeah.
She died not knowing where her son was.
Mhm.
And
Gained a
and
son.
that he was.
Yeah.
Huh?
She also gained a son.
That's true.
Little Sabyuk's brother.
That's true.
Oh.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that was
Well,
rough though.
I'm gonna come out with my grade. I'm gonna give it an F. And I'm just kidding. I'm gonna give it an A plus. I thought the writing was great. The show was great. It exceeded all my expectations. First expectation, it was 9 episodes. I was like, what? I was expecting to see like 16. We're already at like game 5 at like episode 8, and I'm like, Anyway, I give it an A plus. I loved it. I don't care if there's a season 2 or not. And it's dope to know that the girl who played Sabyuk is also friends with Jenny from Blackpink. Y'all sorry.
You would know that.
I'm gonna give it an A plus. Also, it was very well thought out. There was a lot going on. There's so many clues that you can latch onto. I mean, like, there's so many clues. There's a lot. There's just a lot going on, like you got the cop, and then you got what's going on with Gi-hoon's life. You got what's going on with the old guy's life and the brother. There's just so much going on. I think there's going to be a season 2, but we're gonna for sure cover that one. But A plus is my grade for this one.
Yeah, so definitely A plus, 100%. What are you talking about? It's so good. It was so good. Unanimous.
It was
A pluses all the way across the board, people.
Such a good show.
It was just done really well. Like, it was so good. I mean, you can't, even with the few faults that it may have, and it definitely has faults, it was just done still very well. You can't stay angry about them.
Mm-hmm.
I think I read somewhere that season 2 is definitely in the works. Like, they've gotten the green light for it. So because, and I do want a season 2 because I felt the ending was a little unfinished for me. I don't like unfinished shows or movies. It bothers me to no end. So I am looking forward to that. If you guys loved what we talked about, and you have other shows that you want us to watch, or review like this one, like Alice in Borderland, or animes like Darwin's Game, which are like kind of the same idea.
Yeah,
let us know in the comments below, because we are definitely down for it. And I've watched all of those, and they're freaking fantastic. They're all really good.
Yeah, it's one of those shows where it just keeps you thinking. So yeah, I can't wait for season 2. I want to see the red-headed Gi-hoon. So
right, I was laughing. I'm like, that's the color you chose for it? Okay.
You didn't want to go blue?
Maybe,
I mean, come
maybe
on.
he's trying to say that I'm gonna be a guard.
Yeah.
I'm no longer a player. I'm a guard. I'm a
Very true.
I'm just saying.
Very
Everything
true.
has hidden meanings to it. So
Yes, sir. All right. Well, that wraps up this episode. We want to thank White Wong Media. Don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter.
yeah, man, just like us, comment, subscribe to our YouTube channel. All the links are down below. Thank us again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time, guys.